Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Today, I'm going to be going over 7 different fragrances that I picked up from TJ Maxx or Ross's or Marshall's or Burlington, one of those other rack stores. Some fragrances that I really like. Now, there are some fragrances that I bought from rack stores that are garbage, complete trash. Not in this video though. Now, to be truthful with you guys, I have bought so many fragrances from rack stores over the years. Some of them, I forgot where I even got them at. I'm like, did I get this at TJ Maxx or online? Or how did I get this? But these ones I know for sure I got at rack stores. So let's jump into it. Let's check these out. Now there are a couple fragrances that are honorable mentions to an extent. One of them is actually right here. It's this one, Halston Man Amber. Unfortunately, this is pretty hard to find nowadays, so I'm not including this one in the official list, but I would say if you find this for a decent price, go ahead and scoop it up. And then my most depressing miss of all time from rack stores is this one, L'Eau d'Issy Pour Homme Noir Ombre. Now I've talked about this one before on the channel. This is awesome. I love this fragrance. The quality is insane for an Issey Miyake fragrance. It is great for fall and winter. Like, this is a Tip Top Magoo amber fragrance. This is it. So why is this a big miss? Well, this was popping up at TJ Maxx's all across the US. Went into my local one and lo and behold, it was there. Now this is a time I made a terrible mistake. This thing at that moment, at that specific moment in time, was not crazy difficult to find. And they had one, and I thought to myself, it'll be here tomorrow. And the reason I thought that is because there was a heck of a line at the TJ Maxx. It was, you know, it was huge. And I was like, I'm not gonna wait in that line. I'll just come back tomorrow. You know, a little bit after it opens, I'll scoop the thing up. And I came back the next day and it was gone already and it never came back. And then all of a sudden the price of this thing just went through the roof. Thankfully, I was able to get it much later, but for a while there, that was not a fun time. Every time I would see that pop up, I would feel like a complete moron. Now, on to some fragrances that I have picked up at TJ Maxx, Ross's, Marshall's, Burlington, etc., that I really like. First off, Lacoste Live. Now, interestingly, this one I thought I was going to not enjoy. I vaguely remember smelling it years ago and not being super blown away by the thing, but I was buying fragrances that day and I thought, you know, let's go ahead and pick it up. Mainly because I've got a lot of Lacoste fragrances, but not this one. And then, you know, got it out, sprayed it on, and lo and behold, really like it. It's got green notes, lime, licorice, and aquatics. It's actually got this good amount of sweetness to the scent. It smells like bits of spice throughout. This one's really strange because online, a lot of people seem to dislike it, and yet I really enjoy it. And my wife likes it a lot too. So it's just one of those times where my memory and what I had read turned out to be completely the opposite of how I feel about the fragrance now. So Lacoste Live, for me, great fragrance, great scent, worth the price because frankly, it doesn't cost all that much. And next up, another cheapie, Guess Seductive Homme Bleu with the really cheap cap that just kind of spins. So this has cardamom, citrus, cashmere wood, and sea notes as some of the notes in the fragrance. And this one smells similar to La Nuit de l'Homme, the original, only maybe a bit fresher. So not exactly like Frozen cologne, not like Bleu Electrique, because I know that some people would say, well, those are fresher versions of La Nuit de l'Homme. Nah, this is more like just straight up La Nuit de l'Homme made a little bit aquatic. It smells really nice, especially if you like that cardamom forward nature of the original La Nuit de l'Homme. Big drawback with this one is gonna be the performance. It's not good. And thankfully, the price is not very high, so you can go buck wild with this thing. You can spray yourself 25 times. Who cares? Because you can pick up a bottle for next to nothing. So it smells great. The performance, though, not great. Price, really good. So it kind of balances out. And I would say with this one, you could wear it in more high heat situations than you might reach for La Nuit de l'Homme in. So if you want that cardamom punch the same way La Nuit is going to give it to you, but you're going to be in a higher heat place, or whatever, go for that one. Now, the last fragrance I compared to La Nuit de l'Homme. Some people compared this next one also to La Nuit de l'Homme, though I'll say the last one, the guess, is closer to La Nuit. The next one is F Black by Ferragamo. Now, if you've been around for a moment, you'll know that this fragrance has been hyped off and on for a long time as a fantastic cheapy fragrance, as one of the best cheap fragrances out there. I don't want to spend a lot of money, but I want to have a good fragrance. I want the ladies to like me. It's got lavender, black pepper, apple, and tonka. Some of the notes in the scent. Like I said, some people will compare this to La Nuit de l'Homme, but it's not super close to that one. This one's interesting in the sense that it has good amount of freshness. It's got a big spicy pop from that black pepper, but then it has a good amount of sweetness as well as it dries down. So it gives it a good amount of versatility, is what I'm trying to say. So F Black, even though it's kind of had its day in the sun and it's not hyped as much anymore, talked about as much anymore, it's still very solid, easily worn, and is a big potential compliment puller as well. This next one, I was really excited to get. This fragrance was getting a good amount of hype online, and I walked into my local Ross. I can still remember, because typically at my local Ross, the fragrances are worse than what you're gonna find at TJ Maxx. It's kind of like TJ Maxx is here, Ross is here. And yet this was at my local Ross, this exact bottle. Scooped it up immediately. It is Popeye Eau Fraiche from Jean Paul Gaultier. So nowadays, this is pretty much just the Le Male Eau Fraiche line. So there are a whole bunch of different bottle designs, and then the fragrance on the inside is the same. So you're just looking for Le Male Eau Fraiche in whatever design you can find it in, basically. But this was the first one. Popeye Eau Fraiche. It's got mint, it has aldehydes, ambroxan, vanilla, and tonka. And some of the notes in the scent, and unfortunately my bottle is quite low. So this one is a spring and summertime Le Male fragrance, really heavy on the aldehydes and the mint, very fresh and brisk in the opening. Still has a good amount of sweetness as well. And that one was just a hype monster for a while there. When this first came out, everybody was talking about it. Everybody loved it. Everybody was wearing it and talking about how many compliments they were getting and all that stuff. I still think it's a great scent. I think it smells very nice, very versatile as well. Works for a wide age range, maybe appeals more a little bit to younger guys, but still, I think middle-aged guys can pull this off just as easily. Next up, we got an older fragrance here. Well, not that much older, but older in the sense of when I picked it up. And it is Dirty English from Juicy Couture. So this one is how it looks now, but this one, how it used to look. If you buy this now, it's gonna come with just this cheap plastic cap. How it used to come, it's like this, with a nice metal cap, with a little leather band that wraps around it and a couple of pewter charms hanging off. Look at that. Way nicer. Now, if you've never smelled Dirty English and you don't know how it's supposed to smell, it doesn't make sense to pay a whole lot more to get this older style bottle. That being said, if you find an older style bottle for a good price, I would get that over the new one. It does smell a little bit nicer, projects a little bit more, it's got a little more oomph to it, a little more depth to it. The older bottle is the nicer fragrance of the two, but they're close enough that, like I said, if you don't know how it smells, then this one is not really gonna smell off or bad. It's not drastically worse or anything like that than this one. What I'm trying to say is they're pretty close, but this one's better. It's got oud, leather woods, and mandarin orange as some of the notes in the fragrance. For a cheap fall and wintertime fragrance, it's very good. It's got nice depth and complexity. The oud, the additional woods, the leather make it smell very masculine and sexy. It's got just the tiniest little bit of sweetness in there too. Now let's go with another Ferragamo Aqua Essenziale Colonia. Now I picked up actually the entire Aqua Essenziale line from TJ Maxx for next to nothing. These ones they had at the same time that it was at Nordstrom for full retail, so it was really funny. They started popping up at TJ Maxx, and this is actually another one of those times where people were saying, hey, go check your local store, see if they got these in, because they're selling them for great prices. They were $14.99, $19.99, and $24.99, depending on what size you got. 1 ounce, 1.7 ounce, or 3.4 ounce. So I do have kind of a mix. One of my Aqua Senseials is a 1 ounce bottle, one is a 1.7 ounce, and one is a 3.4. So they're just it's kind of a smorgasbord. Whatever they had is what I got. And the entire line is actually really nice. They're a little bit simple. They're easy to wear, people-pleasing, mass-appealing kind of fragrances, but they all smell really pleasant. This one has bergamot, clary sage, lavender, and vetiver as some of the notes in the fragrance. And it has kind of an Acqua di Parma Colonia feel to it. So the Colonia name makes sense in that aspect. Very clean, classy, gentlemanly, sophisticated. It's got this Italian cologne, classic Italian cologne style vibe to it, which really just harkens back to smelling similar to Acqua di Parma, frankly. Perfect for the office, perfect for neutral weather kind of situations, spring, fall. It's a wonderful scent. And I actually have 2 bottles of that one. So I have a backup. This is the backup actually, just in case for any reason something happens to the other one. I was able to pick up the fragrances for so cheap that I thought, hey, I like that one, I'll get another. All right, last but not least, Mr. Burberry Indigo. Rosemary, citrus, mint, water, and oak moss. Some of the notes in this one. Now I know the Mr. Burberry line is not the most loved of fragrance lines. It doesn't really get a lot of hype. People don't really talk about it very much. They just kind of let it be and just forget about it. This one though really speaks to me because it has this green undercurrent to it. Very clean, fresh, green, and aromatic. I love the way it smells. Now for a lot of people, it would be maybe too understated. Not sweet enough, not spicy enough, not in your face enough. This one is a little bit more reserved and, like I said, green and aromatic. And that's not necessarily a winning combination for a lot of people. For a lot of people, you say, hey, this is a great green fragrance. And they say, no, thank you, dude. Green ain't for me, man. But I really have that deep-seated love of older fragrances that a lot of times did concentrate on being very aromatic and green. This one doesn't smell old school. It's very modern, but with that kind of feeling that it has, it just strikes a chord with me. I didn't pay all that much for it. I think it's a really nice springtime kind of fragrance. So there we go, guys. 7 awesome fragrances that I picked up from rack stores over the years. And there are probably a lot more in my collection that I did pick up at rack stores, but I would have to really rack my brain trying to figure out where I got these things. And we'll save that for another day, maybe a follow-up video or something. All right, guys, let me know in the comments below, what are some fragrances that you have picked up from rack stores that just blew your mind, that worked out great for you? As always, thanks for hanging with me. Thanks for all your support. Stay safe out there. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.